Educate them. Show up as a subject matter expert. Why? Because naturally people will be like, dang, this girl really knows her stuff. They're going to hop on over to your profile. They're going to send you a friend request. They're going to slide into your DMs. How can I work with you? I see you, I see you give great advice inside the group, da, 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 da. So increase your visibility. Okay. So that would be one thing. Again, not to pitch, but to serve and to position yourself as the go-to expert in that particular area, whatever your specialty is, whatever your niche is, prioritize that. I would do that day one. If I had to start all over in my holistic health business, here is what I would do differently. So, hey there, guys. Welcome back to the Charyse Williams Show. I am so excited to share this topic with you today. If you are new here, I am Charyse Williams, functional medicine trained holistic health coach, business strategist, and mentor to the bold, the self led, and the disruptors in the holistic health space. So, like I mentioned, today's episode is really for the female clinician who's either just starting her holistic health business, holistic health coaching business, or functional medicine business, or maybe you have, you feel like you kind of hit a plateau and you're needing a reset. This episode is for you, because if I had to start all over with what I know now, knowing what I know now, I would definitely do a few things very, very differently. So let's dive in. No gatekeeping here, just real talk. Okay. All right. So the first thing I would do, honestly, the first thing I would do is that I would own my ish sooner, a lot sooner. I spent too much time, I'm going to say probably 2 years, really second guessing myself, really trying to be part. Number one, I know what the heck I was doing. Let's just start there. I mean, I knew what I was doing from a health perspective, a clinical perspective, but not so much from a business perspective, right? And so I was trying to figure it all out on my own, which I'm going to kind of unpack that here in just a second. But I spent way too much time second guessing. I didn't really have a clear cut direction, and I spent way too much time trying to be perfect. And as you know, perfection does not exist in real life. There's no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. And really, what I came to realize is that in my effort to try to be perfect, what it really was fear. It was procrastination. Procrastination is based in fear, and that was what was really holding me back. But I didn't know that at the time, right? And so when I say I would own my ish, it means really that I would really value and like own the fact, okay, how many years did I go to school for nursing school? How many years was I ICU nurse? Right? How many years literally of experience did I have? How much certification did I have? How much time did I spend literally just self-studying? How much real life experience did I have with healing myself and just friends and family kind of on the fly? Like, I really would have owned my stuff so much sooner. So that's number one. Okay. The next thing I will say is that I would have hired a coach sooner. I would have. And here's the thing, I did hire a coach pretty soon after I started my business, but I would have done it sooner because I did waste a lot of time. And that time, time, yes, time is money, but it was time that was wasted that was really just it was unnecessary. Right? Not when you can hire someone and have someone show you the way, help you navigate, help you come up with a plan, a strategy, and not just anybody, but someone, I would hire a coach or a business coach or business strategist with receipts, which I did. Like I said, I didn't. This is not something I would do differently. I would have just done it sooner. I hired a phenomenal business strategist that really helped me like lay the foundational pieces of business. The one thing I would say that she didn't have, like she wasn't familiar necessarily with like functional medicine and holistic health. I don't fault her for that because again, what I learned was massive, so much so that she's still my business strategist to this day. But that's definitely a key piece. That's definitely a piece, right? So a business strategist, it would have been helpful, I think, if she would have known, understood functional medicine. Not necessary, but I think helpful, but absolutely necessary. Understands offers, right? Understands sales, absolutely. Like I said, I didn't, I did it, but even when I was not making any money yet. Like I literally had an idea of a business. I was kind of doing some things kind of haphazardly. And that's why I say I would have hired a business strategist sooner. right? Instead of trying to figure it out on my own, because yeah, that just leads to frustration and delay. And we'll just leave it at that, frustration and delay. Okay. So I waited longer than what I probably should have, which again, I think was a big mistake. Here's the thing: when you're working with someone who can show you the way, help you prevent you from doing things that just don't work, right? Help you shortcut it, because that's really what a business coach or business strategist really helps you do. Helps you shortcut your learning curve and help you really get clarity, right? Clarity collapses timelines. You can write that down. Clarity collapses timelines. And having a business coach and business strategist really helped. It really gave me that clarity and the confidence. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little pro tip here. Not only would I hire a business coach or business strategist right out the back that has receipts, right? Which I did, but I would, like I said, I would have done it sooner. And if they weren't proficient in high ticket sales, particularly if that's what you know that you want to do, because I did know that. I did know that what I wanted to offer, it was going to be more on the premium side. I knew that. What I didn't anticipate was that when I did hire a high ticket sales coach, like that was their specialty, what I did not realize was that that was going to really expand my vision for my business. So I'm glad I did it. I just would have done it sooner. Okay. And because here's the thing: what I realized relatively early on is that I did not feel comfortable selling my services. I did my holistic health coaching services, and I was underpricing, although I thought I was doing pretty good. No, when I say they really helped me expand my vision, and I will never forget. He asked me. He said, "You don't understand the level of impact that you are making," and I was like, I think I did. And he's like, no, you don't, because if you did, you would not be charging that small amount. And I'm like, oh. And again, here I am thinking that I was doing good, right? So again, that's the benefit of having a coach or a strategist where they can see the bigger picture. And again, they can help you navigate and they can help you expand your vision of what you even thought was possible. Okay. What I was going to say about sales is a skill. You guys have probably heard me say this before. It's just like when you learn how to start an IV. It's just like when you learn how to put in an NG tube. It's just like when you learn how to do whatever nursing skills proficiency you had to do. At first, you sucked, right? I sucked at putting in IVs initially. And then it got to a point where I could almost put it in without even, I could feel it and put it in. I didn't even really have to see it. I just got that good, that proficient. Why? Because I learned this skill and I did it over and over and over again. And not only did I get proficient, I gained mastery, right? So that's the same thing when you are building your business and when you start to learn how to sell your services, how to enroll clients into your holistic health coaching or functional medicine programs or services from a place of service, not in a slimy, weird, awkward way, but from a place of service and a place in a way that feels truly aligned. What happens is, number one, your business, you become really proficient, and not just proficient, but you gain mastery. Number two, your business explodes in such a beautiful, fabulous way. Your business and your sales start to compound, right? Your energy becomes magnetic because your confidence becomes literally contagious, and then you have this beautiful cash flow that just flows, right? And so I didn't do bad, right? I did create $100,000 business in 9 months, and then that next year we tripled to 300K. So I didn't do bad. However, what I'm saying is I probably could have done better than that. Again, I'm grateful. So but hindsight's 2020. That's what this whole episode is about. What I would have done differently and why. Okay. The next thing I will say is that I really would have leaned into and prioritized visibility, daily visibility. Literally, that it would have been a non-negotiable. Now, again, I knew it was a good idea to increase my visibility. And here's why this is important, because the number one problem that businesses have, not just new businesses, but really businesses in general, is obscurity, right? No one knows you. No one knows who you are. No one knows that you exist. No one knows what you offer. No one knows how you can help. So no one knows. So that's why visibility is so important, right? I was very reluctant initially, but I understood. I knew that I knew that it was important. I just didn't really prioritize it, and so I did show up on some podcasts. I found podcasts to show up on. I did do some guest speaking inside of different Facebook groups, which I think is vitally important. But did I prioritize it? No, I didn't, and that's one thing I definitely would change. Okay, so prioritizing my visibility. What does that even look like though? And I would have done this day one. Day one, even if you think that you're not ready, you are ready. Again, going back to the years of experience, the years of expertise, everything that you have done up until now has prepared you for this. You may not know all things, but guess what? You don't have to. You just need to know what you know. Okay. And trust and understand and own, again, owning your ish, right? Owning your stuff, which is what I said at the very, very beginning. Trust that you know enough and trust that the information that you have, there are people that are looking for you to help them specifically in a way that only you can help them. Period. Point blank. End of story. So stop second guessing yourself. You've got the goods. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. Okay. So I would prioritize my visibility day one. What would that look like? I would literally make it a non-negotiable to be a guest on at least two podcasts every single week. Now, not just random podcasts, but podcasts that already had a listenership, like a listening audience of my ideal client, right? So if my focus is hormones, I'm going to go on podcasts. If let's just say this, if my focus is or if my niche, and you guys hear me talk about niche all the time, right? But if my niche is women in their 40s, okay, I'm searching all these podcasts that women in their 40s that have hormone issues would be listening to. They're not always health related podcasts. Maybe they're empty nester podcasts, right? Because if you're in your 40s, depending on when you start having kids, you are either approaching emptiness, being an empty nester, or maybe you already are there. So think outside the box. Think about, okay, where is my audience? Who already has my audience? And how can I tap into that? Right. And so I would be specific, look specifically for podcasts that have my audience, my target audience. And I would, at the bare minimum, focus on being a guest on two podcasts per week, for sure, for sure, for sure. The other thing I would do is I would look for Facebook communities, Facebook groups to join where my ideal clients are already. So here's the thing: we make business hard. I don't know why we do that. It doesn't have to be hard. The easiest way to find your clients is what? Go to where they're already congregating. This is one of the things I love about Facebook. And this is one of the things I teach inside the Prosperous Practitioner program. This is what I teach inside my Quantum Leap programs is there are groups there, people already segment themselves, right? So if my business is, let's say for instance, I focus on medical weight loss. Do you know how many freaking medical weight loss groups there are on Facebook? Like literally you can find a billion, not a billion, that might be a bit facetious, but you can type in Manjaro, you can type in Zepbound, you can type in Ozempic, you can type in the brand name, the generic name. There are multiple groups of all of those things, right? And so that's just a really simple example. You might not be in medical weight loss, but I guarantee you there are groups, Facebook groups, where people are already segmenting themselves by disease process or age groups or both. Okay. So join those groups, not to go pitch yourself. Wrong approach. So please don't do that. That's icky. But to position yourself as a subject matter expert. And in fact, I would reach out to the admin of the group or the owner of the group and ask them if you could go live or either post or go live once a week, once a month, whatever feels good for you, and educate the group on diabetes, educate the group on medical weight, whatever your niche is. Again, you don't have to know all things. Educate them. Show up as a subject matter expert. Why? Because naturally people will be like, dang, this girl really knows her stuff. They're going to hop on over to your profile. They're going to send you a friend request. They're going to slide into your DMs. How can I work with you? I see you, I see you give great advice inside the group, da, 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 da. So increase your visibility. Okay. So that would be one thing. Again, not to pitch, but to serve and to position yourself as the go-to expert in that particular area, whatever your specialty is, whatever your niche is, prioritize that. I would do that day one. In fact, many of you have heard my story before when it's actually a friend who I stayed in contact with over the year, on and off over the years. And she had a Facebook group. It was a very small group, but she asked me to come in and talk to do like a little health talk, like a 30-minute health talk. It was via Zoom. And I'm like, okay. I didn't poo-poo on the idea because I want to say it was like 20 people in her group. I wasn't all high and mighty and say, oh, it's only 20 people. Yeah, that's not enough. That's not worth my time. Yes, it was. You know why it was worth my time? Number one, it helped me get used to speaking in front of people, right? Even more so, it helped me really refine how I presented information. It helped me organize my thoughts. And basically, the health talk that I did for her, that was the same health talk that I would do on podcasts. That was the same health talk I would do in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes I would tweak it, but it was the same talk that I did for many other instances. But had I not done it for them, I would have never really not perfected, but I would have never really put it together and then started to refine it. So it actually did me good. But I also did get a client from that group. I got a client from that group, and many of you guys have heard me share about this. I did a 20-minute talk in that group. I was asked to come back to that group several times after that because I did such a phenomenal job. One of the ladies who heard me do that health talk at the very beginning, at the very first time, she ended up enrolling in my holistic health coaching program. She was one of my first clients. She wasn't the first client, but she was one of my first clients. And not only did she enroll, at the time, my program was 6 months long. My holistic health coaching program 6 months long. She not only enrolled for 6 months, she re-enrolled for another 6 months. She re-enrolled again for, so literally we ended up working together for a total of 2 years. Not because she wasn't getting results. She was getting results, but more things kept coming up that she wanted to really focus on and work on. So had I said, "Oh, it's only 20 people, it's not worth my time," that equated to, like I said, a long-term client, and she ended up even sending me referrals. So it was a win-win in so many different ways. All right, so the other thing, so I talked about showing up online, really position yourself as a subject matter expert. But what I would also do is I would also look at where can I show up in real life, like as if online is not real life, but where can I show up in person as well. Now, granted, when I really officially launched my business, it was during COVID. So it was like 5 years ago. So this wasn't really a viable option at the time, but it also wasn't anything I was particularly focused on. So again, knowing what I know now, I would definitely prioritize showing up in in person, right? So think about things like gyms, even privately owned, Planet Fitness, even franchises like Nine Round, just places like that, right? Places that you pass by all the time when you're driving to the grocery store, right? Yoga studios, Pilates studios, particularly if, again, your ideal clients are women, maybe of a particular age. Where are they already going? Where are they already congregating, right? And so I would have a conversation with that business owner and offer to do a pop-up, a health talk for their people. Okay. Again, it's a value add for them. And this is big. And this kind of ties into what I was just sharing, but I would also partner with, again, local businesses, whether I would always start with the places that I spend money at, right? But even if I didn't spend money there, if they had my ideal audience, I would definitely approach them and partner with that local business that already had my ideal clients, right? So think about hair salons. Why hair? The lady that does your hair, right? Why? Because number one, your hairstylist knows everything about everybody because everyone always talks in hair salons, right? But the other thing is they also, depending on what type of medications you're on, right? It can affect your hair. If you got hormonal issues, it can affect your hair. Maybe it's thinning or whatever. They know different people's health conditions, right? So I would partner with them, and I would even offer them a revenue share. And what that means is, for instance, if anyone, if I came in and did like a little health talk or whatever, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, and they invited their clients that fit my ideal client, my niche, right? And if they enrolled in my program or my offer, whatever, I would maybe give them 10% or 50%, whatever it is, whatever is feels right for you. But that's a huge way, again, to get yourself in front of people who you would not ordinarily be in front of, right? I would totally massage therapist, right? They know if you have gut issues. They know if that someone's experiencing pain. And we know pain is, like, it ties together with inflammation. I mean, they know certain things. I would definitely tap into that and make it worth their while. Most people want to know what's in it for me. I would totally give them to figure out how I could compensate them from the people who enrolled in whatever I had to offer. I would certainly lead in all of these scenarios that I'm giving you. Y'all, I'm giving y'all the goods. I hope y'all are taking notes. This is the episode you want to rewatch over and over and over again, and not just rewatch or re-listen to, but you want to implement. Okay. But I would lead with labs. I would literally lead with labs, doing root cause blood work analysis and educating the people on the importance of that. Okay. And I would be signing people up left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. Seriously, I would so focus on that. Okay. Why is collaboration so important? And I've done episodes on collaboration before, but why is collaboration so important? Because collaboration allows you to move faster, definitely, work smarter, definitely, and allows you also to tap into trust, because you better believe that, number one, if we go to a hairstylist, for instance, we trust her. We don't just put our hair in the hands of anybody. But when that person is bringing you in, whether it's a stylist, it doesn't matter who it is, massage therapist, there's already that built-in trust, right? Because I know that my hairstylist or my massage therapist is not going to put in just anybody. You could put me in front of anybody or anybody in front of me, right? And so it shortens the sales cycle. It shortens the length of time that it would have normally taken for someone to get to know me, trust, like, we always talk about the know, like, and trust factor. It shortens that cycle. Yay, we're all for shortened cycles. So that's why the next thing I would do is I would 1,000% prioritize daily income producing activities, IPAs. Now, here's the thing. What's really crazy is that, I built, prior to launching my holistic health coaching business, I built multiple six figure businesses before in different arenas, and that was definitely a part. Daily IPAs was a priority. I did that day in and day out. I don't know why I did not carry those same habits into this business initially, but if I had to do it over again, I certainly would. And what does that look like? It looks like, well, number one, in today's day and age, right? So it's 2025 now. But what I would certainly do is I would not only just post content, but I would have a strategy behind it. That's There you go. Tie this back into why it's important to hire a business strategist. She can help you create the strategy, right? I would Yes, I would be posting consistently. When I say consistently, I mean daily, not just educational content like top 5 ways or top 3 things you need to know about gut health or top 5 ways to balance your hormones or whatever. Not that. That's really simple stuff. So yes, you want to educate, but more importantly, you want to activate people. So this is one thing I find, that a lot of you are posting things online, but there's no strategy to it. It's kind of like you're throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping it's going to stick. And it's educational, but it's not activating. Okay, you want to educate and activate, like activate people to say, yes, oh my gosh, I need this. She is speaking my language. She is my person. I need to work with her. Stat. Okay. So the second thing, income producing activity, I would be genuinely engaging on people's comments and building that rapport with them online. Absolutely. Third thing, I don't know when I started this way late in the game, but again, knowing what I know now, I would literally start building my email list starting with day one. All those podcasts that you're going to prioritize being on, all of the showing up as a subject matter expert in those Facebook groups, those in-person not pop-up shops, but pop-up like health talks, whatever, collecting email addresses from day one. Why is this important? Because number one, you don't own social media, right? So if your account gets hacked or something happens, it goes down, whatever, you have no way of staying in contact with these people, right? You own your email list. And this is so very important because it leads into the last thing I'm going to share with you is you can start nurturing these people and you can start making offers or invitations for them to work with you every single day, which means you can start making sales, you can start making money in your business every single day, not just when you hold a masterclass, not just when you are in person doing a health talk, not just on those occasions, but literally you can be offering or inviting people to work with you via email, through on social media, DMs, all the ways, which means you can make a bigger impact and a larger income quicker. Okay, every single day. So I would literally be prioritizing everything I just said every single day. Okay. I know I said every single day, but I really want you to get every single day. And not in a pushy or weird way, literally, but in a way that feels completely aligned and completely authentic. Again, this is what I teach inside the Process Practitioner program as well as my Quantum Leap program. So that's that. Okay, y'all got a lot. I hope y'all took notes. So that's what I would do. Literally, if you're starting from the beginning, if you're listening to this and you're literally right at the beginning of building your business, or if you maybe have hit a plateau and you're like, "Ooh, I'm not even sure what's my next move." Start implementing every single thing that I just shared with you, and I promise you, you will no longer be plateaued, and you will start creating momentum and start generating income like ASAP. ASAP. Okay. So that's what I would do differently. That's what I would do differently. So start showing up, start building community, start positioning yourself as the go-to expert in your particular field of area of expertise. Start making money, start making an impact, start doing the work that you know that you're born to do and that you know that you're here to do. Okay. Alrighty. So if that resonates, if this episode resonated with you, do me a favor. I want you to screenshot the episode and tag me on Facebook, Instagram, wherever it's, or at Charyse Williams on Instagram and at Charyse W on Facebook. So screenshot the episode, tag me in it, and then also tell me what is the one thing that you're going to prioritize right now in your business. I cannot wait to see that, you guys. And as always, if you are ready for that next level strategy and support, you're ready to kind of shift into not just shift into go, but really make a quantum leap in your business. I am going to drop the link for you to schedule your quantum leap session in the show notes. I'll drop the links down below in the show notes, and I cannot wait to connect with you. All right. Until next time, you guys, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Charyse Williams Show. Bye for now.